talking about rush. Don't we all feel rushed all the time? Every minute, every second of our lives? We need to be somewhere, do something, be someone. We never pause to think. And if something comes in our way, we find it very hard to let go. We become anxious, depressed, sometimes some of us even suicidal. What made things worse, social media was introduced. And now we're no longer just in a rush, but in competition with Samira, with Alex, Aboud, Smith, and 300 other people that we follow, but don't know anything about on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and whatever other social media outlets are there. We forget that whatever is online is fabricated, some of which staged. So we start doing things not because we want to do it, but because Jane and Jack went on that course or on that trip. Our energies are wasted. We feel empty. I'm not shy to say here, and for the first time, in front of a lot of people, that I was one of those people, felt rushed most of her life. I thought I lost 3 years of my life after coming back from Scotland because I had to change my undergrad degree. I didn't want to be a dentist anymore. To make things worse, I'm a Middle Eastern woman. That means I have to be married at a certain age. Any Middle Eastern woman in here? Correct me if I'm wrong. 22 on average. And to add on to the pressure, my 17-year-old sister, younger than me, was not only graduating from college at the time, but was getting married. I was a spinster at the age of 18. Everywhere I went, I'm serious, people used to console me, like pat on my back saying, you'll be okay. So it was bizarre. I felt rushed. I could not enjoy my university years. I didn't join any club, I just wanted to graduate. Rushed, I got married. Rushed, 6 months into the marriage, I got pregnant. I gave birth. I couldn't rush that even if I wanted to. The pregnancy was unplanned, and so it threw me off my path completely. I wanted that promotion so bad. 45 calendar days, not working days. After giving birth and a C-section, I gave my daughter to my mom, and I went back to work to prove myself. I found myself in a very, very hectic place. I could not enjoy any moment. Nothing mattered, and everything else, other than work, was a waste of time. Even spending time with my friends. My routine consisted of me coming back from work really late, spending 1 hour with my daughter, her falling asleep on the sofa, me replying to emails up to 2 a.m., and then falling asleep on that sofa next to her. I even worked on weekends. Little did I know that the universe would conspire against me. Come on. Who has a contingency plan for their life? Maybe a plan B, but not, a plan C, D, or E. Who thinks about that? And I had multiple curveballs, not one, in a span of 2 months and 1 year into my dream job. Just to put things into perspective, my dream job was risk management. That means I need to be focused. I need to go through a pile of data analysis and make sure the bank doesn't lose their money. I not only had to prove to my senior executive my technical capabilities, but prove myself as a woman and as an Emirati. And oh yeah, it happened during 2009, during the economic recession. It was a very testing time for my career. Life was hectic. The first curveball was a near-death traumatic event. It left me with multiple bruises, a ruptured eardrum, post-traumatic stress disorder, multiple concussions, and yes, a broken pinky. Just for the people who don't know what PTSD is, it's a mental illness where you have flashback of the near-death situation during a normal course of the day, and it paralyzes you. I was released from the hospital without any doctor or psychologist talking to me about this emotional stress. I did not know that I had PTSD. It made things really interesting. So I was still in my so-called rust state. So as soon as I was released from the hospital in the afternoon, I went to work. I wanted to be the employee of the month. So I went to work, and when my casted pinky came into the way, I found some scissors, and I cut the cast off to type. Yes, I use all my fingers to type. Like I said, I'm a bit weird. It left me with a crooked pinky. You can see it if you look close. And I only have, to fix it, I have to go back to the hospital for them to break it again. That's not happening. You would think that I would learn my lesson by then. I have a crooked pinky and all, but no. So whilst I was in the state of delirium, my mind was shifting from present to past due to certain triggers in my environment. Funnily, it was my boss's voice. I not only had to deal with work, raising a child on my own, going to court hearings to get my divorce. Yes, that was happening at the same time as well. But also wounds started showing up on my ankles out of nowhere. It felt like acid was pouring on my feet. My flesh started breaking from inside out, and no doctor could tell me what was wrong. But they all agreed on one thing, that I had to stuff my legs into compression stockings, just up to here, for blood to flow to my scars, for my scars to heal. I felt like a sausage. My schedule looked like something like this. It was like a downward spiral of emotional hurricane. I wake up happy, I become very sad, and I break down in the car, and then my PTSD is triggered, I become anxious again, and back to happiness, and yeah, you can see. I started having panic attacks. Any normal person, I think, would have panic attacks. And the panic attacks got worse when one of my doctors decided to tell me via email that I had an autoimmune disorder. So not only was I dealing with external obstacles in my way, my body was fighting against me. My world was starting to crumble down. I was never 100%. I started breaking down, even at work. I would go to the toilet and cry so no one can see me. I nearly lost my dream job, my relationship with my daughter, of course my sanity. I know everyone's thinking, she didn't mention any friends or family or support. No, they were around, and they were very supportive, but they could not put themselves in my shoe. They did not understand what was going on. Until one day, a very close friend of mine, who was worried that I might go on a bender or get addicted to Xanax or something, asked if I wanted to join him at his support group, which was unconventional for my issues and unconventional for an Emirati. I was feared about being judged, but I was already rock bottom. I had nothing to lose. So I decided to go. And guess what? It was the best thing I've ever done. This group has a process in place and a serenity prayer. The serenity prayer was so surreal that I wrote it down on paper and I wore it around my neck for a very long time. What resonated with me from this group is the importance of having a support. Somewhere where you can feel safe. You can remove all the masks you wear during the day. No one will judge you. The other thing that resonated with me is the idea of living in the now. So the idea of living in the now is not new. We all know it. It's a pillar to Buddhism and Taoism. It's the hottest topic of the year as companies and schools are introducing mindfulness to the routines of their employees and students, especially as most of us now live to capture the moment than live for the moment. What is meant by living in the now is that you have control only on your current actions and habits, that tomorrow is gone and the future is yet to come. To be able to live in the now, and let's break down the prayer for you to make this more easy. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. That means you have to find the strength and inner peace to let go. Stress does not come from time, from the fear of having no time to do something. But actually stress comes from the idea that the desire that we have to control everything. If we don't let go, we become obsessed and so enraged and sometimes depressed. If we let go, you become calm. You are in a better mental position to make decisions. For me, it was to accept the fact that I had an untreatable blood condition and I could no longer feel my legs, even as I speak right now. It was also the fact that I had to forgive and let go of that post-traumatic event that was caused by an external factor and not by myself. I have a coping mechanism. I give myself a 5-minute breakdown time, and I usually cry. No, that's an understatement. I weep. I passionately weep. It makes me feel better. The second line in the prayer says, courage to change the things I can. You need to find your own path in life. You can be one of two people. People who sulk or complain, or those who find a way. They dig deep and find a way. Usually, you remain in a rut because of fear. Nothing else but fear. You're worried that the grass is not greener on the other side, and so you stay in your comfort zone. Remember that all problems have a solution. You just need to change your perspective on life and become more self-aware. By becoming more self-aware, you know your stressors, your motivators, your passions, your weaknesses, and your strength. You know who you are. So you become intentional and pragmatic. I now have a simple formula for my problems, and I hope it helps you. So problem equals can I, and I emphasize on the word I because no one else's opinion should matter as long as you're not harming them. Can I live with it? Or can I find a solution? If you do not have the solution, someone in your network will have it. You just have to have the humility to go ask for help and flag you're flawed. Another thing very important to be present is to have a singular focus on the person you're talking to, the idea you're thinking of, or the work that you're doing just right now. Multitasking, and I know most women think multitasking works, but it doesn't if you want to be present. The last statement of the prayer says the wisdom to know the difference. So once you let go of the things you cannot change and have the courage to change the things you can, now you become resilient. You are present. I know it's human nature to think ahead of plan, but what about right now? What about this minute? Cherish it, or you're going to lose it. At the end, I'd like to say that life is all about perspective and mindset. Focus and energy are two things you need to be present. A minute is very unforgiving. It only gives you 60 seconds, whoever you are, just 60 seconds, whatever your situation is. The question is, what are you going to do with these 60 seconds? Are you going to be a slave of time? Or are you going to cherish those 60 seconds? Be yourself. Find your own rhythm and path in life. Don't be like me, and I urge you please not to wait for some suffering to happen or a traumatic event to change your way in life. It's not a very difficult thing to do to be present. You just need to close your eyes, breathe, feel, you're already there. Thank you.